Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now, in this video, I'm going to share some brand new comments from Mason Gooding about Stu Macher and Scream 7. Now, don't worry, this is not a spoiler, so don't turn the video off. However, what Mason says is definitely food for thought about the character Stu, and it provides some great fuel for theories. And this is the first we've heard anyone from the cast specifically discuss Stu Macher at all. So let's dive in right now. Let's go.
Hi everyone, this is Mathieu Kadar, and I'm the ghost face in the opening scene in Scream 6. And yes, I'm the one who kills Samara Weaving, and you're watching Craven Something Scary.
So EntertainmentWeekly.com interviewed Mason Gooding and posted the article just this morning. And when I read his comments about Stu Macher, I immediately knew that I must share this with all of you, thus the video out ASAP. Now, in the article, we read, and now we're getting not one, but two past ghost faces. Matthew Lillard from 1996 Scream and Scott Foley, 2000 Scream 3, are both confirmed for the cast. In what capacity, we don't know, especially because both of their characters died in their respective films, which, I disagree. Stu Macher did not die in Stu 1. You guys know I'm a Stu truther, so I had to just correct that. Had to. But Gooding teases no one will be able to anticipate it. Now, when we get to Mason's actual comments on Stu Macher, he says, or Matthew Lillard / Stu Macher, he says, quote, Matthew Lillard's been a huge part of my understanding and love for the medium for a very long time. Gooding says, pointing to his love of the live-action Scooby-Doo and horror flick 13 Ghosts. When you consider his work in the context of the first Scream, you realize that was actually him kind of reining it in and being more grounded given the circumstances. To see where they're taking that understanding and dynamic in 7 is far different than I imagine anyone will be able to anticipate. And they absolutely deliver. Okay, guys, number one, I do not believe Mason makes these comments if Stu Macher appears in a flashback. Because if it's well, I mean, he might, let me correct myself. He may appear in a flashback, but if that's the only scene that Stu Macher is in, then I don't think this makes sense. Because number one, all of us who are Scream fans, we anticipate the potential of a flashback. That was the first thought most people had, including myself, especially when Roman was announced. But talking about Stu, none of us will be surprised if we see a flashback with Roman, Stu, Billy, and killing Maureen as the opening kill. Or even if it's not the opening kill, a flashback period of Maureen's death. And then if that's the only scene that Stu is in, that's it, it's done. But guys, I really believe that the way he's wording this, and again, I'm going to read this one more time, pay real close attention. When you consider his work in the context of the first Scream, you realize that was actually him kind of reining it in and being more grounded given the circumstances. To see where they're taking that understanding and dynamic in 7 is far different than I imagine anyone will be able to anticipate, and they will absolutely deliver. So I honestly think that Mason may be saying more here than he should, because I personally believe, after reading this several times, making sure I'm understanding the context of what he's saying, this screams to me Stu Macher is a living character. And I do believe we will see Roman in a flashback, 100%, and possibly with Stu. But again, guys, if that's the only scene, Mason's not going to be talking about how they take this dynamic of what we know of Stu and where they take that in 7 is far different than I imagine anyone will be able to anticipate. That's not a flashback scene, guys. That's Stu Macher alive acting in this movie. And if you look at Matthew Lillard's Instagram, where he signed, "My mom and dad are going to be so mad at me." If you haven't seen that, you need to go to his Instagram page, because 2 things jumped out at me. Number 1, the horrible handwriting. It's like a child learning to write to print. And I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. And if you notice, in between writing certain words on the Instagram video, his hand shakes, it jitters, and almost like he has nerve damage. So guys, every time when I saw this today, I'm like, oh no, this is it. Mason is essentially not confirming, but demonstrating to me evidence that Stu Macher is a living character in Scream 7. Connected that along with Matthew Lillard's post. I believe we have sufficient plausible evidence to understand Stu Macher as not just a flashback, but as a living character in this movie. I think Mason let the cat out of the bag, and I won't be surprised if Spyglass reins him in these interviews and stop giving the bait. They give the bait and he's taking it. I love it. I mean, trust me, I'm glad he said this, because he was a Stu truther, and if you're a Stu truther, I think this is amazing news, because again, it doesn't guarantee it, but I'm telling you guys, you don't make a statement like they're taking the understanding we had of Stu Macher from Scream 1 and looking at the dynamic in 7 is far different than I imagine anyone will anticipate. That, to me, you're not going to change that in a flashback. This is legitimately, I believe, Stu Macher being alive in Scream 7. Mason knows it. He's read the script. And I think, again, he probably just said more than the studio would be happy with. But guys, I'm excited. I want to share it with you as quickly as possible. Tell me what you think about his comments about Stu Macher. And listen, I need to see your comments, your thoughts, your ideas, your theories in the comments section below right now. Start typing even while this video is not over. I love reading what's on your mind, and this is a big one. So please let me know in the comments section. I will look for you to leave me a thought. All right, guys, that's all for this update. But as you never know with Scream 7 news, I may be back with the 3rd video today. But for now, this is it for Scream 7. And don't forget to like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. And until next time, this is Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thanks for watching.